As an avid ChatGPT user, once I heard about GPT-4 being provided as early access to people who purchased ChatGPT Plus, I immediately wanted to try it. I clicked to buy it, but then I saw, ooh, my bank account might not be too pleased. Yes, ChatGPT Plus is expensive, and I'm sure many of you who are also broke like me are desperate to know if it's actually worth it. That's why today, I'll be giving both ChatGPT and ChatGPT Plus a series of head-to-head challenges, such as making a Discord bot and solving LeetCode questions, so that you guys can see if it's really worth paying for. The major advantage of ChatGPT Plus is that it offers the option to run on the GPT-4 model, rather than GPT 3.5 like the free version. GPT-4 is supposedly much more efficient and accurate. But the most important addition of GPT-4 is that it is multimodal, which means it can take in images as inputs. This is a game changer. To demonstrate how powerful this is, OpenAI President Greg Brockman released a demo video in which GPT-4 was given a reference sketch of a website and provided all the code necessary to turn it into an actual website. Absolutely mind-blowing. Unfortunately, ChatGPT Plus currently does not support image uploading, although it is coming very soon, which I will be covering in another video. In this video, we will be focusing on comparing the performance of ChatGPT Plus's GPT-4 option against the free version of ChatGPT. I actually had to go make a second OpenAI account using a different email so that I could have access to the free version of ChatGPT. Because while Plus does allow you to toggle between GPT 3.5 and 4, I've found that the premium's version of GPT 3.5 is actually much faster than the free versions, and I wanted to keep this video as authentic as possible. The way I'll be comparing the free and paid versions is to give both a series of tests and examine both the speed and accuracy of their responses. We'll start off with a basic creative request, just asking ChatGPT to write a video description for me. Then, we'll be giving them the more complicated task of building a specified Discord bot and providing the steps for implementation. After that, I'm making both ChatGPTs prepare for coding interviews by giving them a variety of difficulties of LeetCode questions. And at the very end, I'll give you my opinion on whether or not I think it's actually worth it to pay for ChatGPT Plus. So, without further ado, let's see how they stack up. While brainstorming the first question to give the ChatGPTs, I thought, what's some work that I'm going to have to do later that I can have ChatGPT do for me now? The answer came to me immediately, writing a description for this video. So, that's exactly the prompt I gave them. So as you can see from the differences in their responses, we can already start to notice the major differences between the versions. ChatGPT Plus is very clearly slower. However, it is also a lot more emotion-invoking, as well as insightful about YouTube descriptions, going as far as to include 3 hashtags and even asking users to like, subscribe, and comment. This actually makes a lot of sense, because as you can see from this graphic from ChatGPT itself, GPT 3.5 is faster, but does have worse reasoning. Now that we have that basic test out of the way, let's move on to something that puts the eye in artificial intelligence to the real test. To start to really test the reasoning differences between the two, I decided to give them a much more advanced challenge. I've always wanted to have a Discord bot for our channel Discord, link in the description, that publishes whenever I've made a new video, but I'm too lazy to code one myself. So, let's see if either version of ChatGPT can do that work for me. Let's first talk about the free ChatGPT version. While it runs on the side here, I'll talk about how it performed. In terms of speed, it took about 1 minute and 8 seconds to finish the entire prompt. However, it actually stopped before completing the entire set of instructions, which left me on a bit of a cliffhanger. In terms of how well it actually worked, I would have to say it was decent. While it did make a lot of mistakes, I was able to explain the error messages to ChatGPT, and it eventually corrected them. The time to get it working took about 45 minutes, which is probably still faster than it would have taken me to read the Discord bot documentation and the YouTube API documentation. Now, let's take a look at ChatGPT+. In terms of speed, it was definitely slower, taking almost exactly double the time at 2 minutes and 18 seconds. However, it also stopped just before completing the entire set of instructions. So, clearly it was much slower than the free version. Is this extra wait time actually worth it? The results are in, and the answer is overwhelmingly yes. After asking ChatGPT+ to continue with the instructions it forgot to finish, I was able to quickly follow each step and get the Discord bot up and working in less than 10 minutes. And incredibly, it made 0 mistakes with the code. Comparing the two versions of ChatGPT, the differences that we saw in the first test are even more evident and pronounced here. The normal version of ChatGPT is much faster, whereas ChatGPT+ is slower, but far more accurate. When it comes to overall performance, ChatGPT+ is far more efficient, as even though it was slower to compute by a minute, it saved at least 35 minutes because it made 0 mistakes when compared to the free version. We've determined that both versions of ChatGPT can write video descriptions and build projects. The final step to them replacing me entirely is their ability to pass technical interviews and steal all of the jobs I apply for. As many of you know, lots of technical interviews are done by asking data structure and algorithm questions to applicants. LeetCode is the most popular site to practice these, so I had both versions of ChatGPT complete 10 questions in total, 3 easy, 4 medium, and 3 hard. I actually messed up the first time I tried to film this part because I forgot that ChatGPT is trained on data up to September 2021. So, when I ended up giving both versions questions from before that time period, I didn't realize that they had already been trained on these questions, and as a result, both versions got every single question right. To do this properly, I decided to redo it with only questions created in 2022 or later. Now, I won't show you all of the computations because that would take forever, but I'll go over the results and highlight key observations. Starting with accuracy, the free version of ChatGPT got 1 of the 3 easy questions correct, 1 of the 4 medium questions correct, and none of the hard questions correct, for a measly score of 20%. ChatGPT+ got 2 of the 3 easy questions correct, 3 of the 4 medium questions correct, and 1 of the 3 hard questions correct, for a barely passing grade, but much improved upon the free version, of 60%. In terms of speed, I didn't time every single answer, but in general, GPT-4 was about 30 seconds slower for each question. Now, I want to highlight some interesting takeaways with ChatGPT+'s attempts to solve. Firstly, ChatGPT+ was always attempting to explain the logic it was using to solve each question, which makes it a great learning tool for beginners who are still trying to learn data structure and algorithm concepts. However, while ChatGPT+ is very diligent in explaining its work, it is not as diligent in checking its work. In fact, even though it claims that it tested the provided examples and got the right output, when running the code on LeetCode, those exact test cases sometimes fail. This shows that ChatGPT+ is either not testing the code with examples at all and just claiming that it got them correct, or it has a fundamental misunderstanding of how the code it's producing is working. Interestingly, you can tell it that it made a mistake, and it will try and correct the code, sometimes trying even new approaches entirely. However, it usually is unable to solve the issue no matter how many times it tries, which might indicate that it actually has trouble understanding the question it's given. Overall, while ChatGPT+ is much better at solving these types of problems than the free version, it seems our job prospects are safe, at least for now. We've reached the end of the tests. Clearly, ChatGPT+ is a bit slower, but far more accurate than the free version. Now, it's time to answer the question, is ChatGPT+ worth it right now? Ultimately, the answer is dependent on how frequently you code. My answer would be yes if you are someone who codes for hours most days, as it will save you a significant amount of time compared to the normal ChatGPT. But if you don't code at all, or only code a little bit, then the free version of ChatGPT is more than good enough, and I don't think it's worth the $20 monthly investment to get ChatGPT+. That being said, ChatGPT+ is still in its early stages. Once plugins and the ability to add photo inputs become accessible, which I expect will be pretty soon, it will be far more useful to get ChatGPT Plus. Thanks so much for watching the video. This video took way longer than you'd expect to put together, so I'd really appreciate it if you liked, subscribed, and shared it with friends. The more this channel grows, the higher quality videos I can produce, so I'd love your help in reaching that goal. Thanks, and I'll see you all in the next video.